Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, the show that inspires, empowers, and educates you through life's transitions. And we talk about the art of intentional living. I'm very, very excited about our show today because, we talk a lot about mindset and manifestation. And I really love blending the science with the spirituality. And we've had some guests on recently that you may remember. We had Brian Ridgway, who's the Spellbreaker. We did Michael Lozier, Law of Attraction. We had Jim Lutz a couple weeks ago, who does hypnosis. Joe Dispenza, who does the blending of the science and the spirituality. And today, my guest for you, you know how I bring it for you, is a gentleman that I met a little over a month ago. He was at an event I was attending. He was speaking, and what he did for this woman in under 5 minutes blew me away. And I said, I have to have him on the show. I have to bring him. And his name is Dr. Alok Trivedi, and he is known as Dr. Rewire. Dr. Rewire. And he's going to come on in just a few minutes. He's got an unbelievable story, the work that he's doing. He's, an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company. He helps so many people. I think it's 500,000 worldwide that he's helped with his processes, and 92 that he invented. He's also a best-selling author. We're going to talk all about that. But today's show, our theme today is to rewire your brain in minutes with Dr. Alok Trevedi. I was saying his name wrong and he corrected me, and now I'm flubbing it up. Dr. Alok Trevedi, and he is known as Dr. Rewire. So what he did and what he does is groundbreaking work. And I've been watching some of his videos, and I have so many questions. He's going to bring it today. Even though he's not feeling well, he rallied and he's showing up for us here today to share all of his wisdom with us. So that's the theme for today. And now we always do an intention statement. And our intention statement this week is, I have today to understand the way my brain thinks. I have today to understand the way my brain thinks. Right? And when we have a clearer understanding of why we're behaving the way we're behaving, we're responding while we're not getting the results that we want in our lives, no matter how much we try, how much, personal development we do, or how many books we read or seminars we go to. And some of this stuff is just completely out of your control. You have to understand what's going on in the brain. And for those of you who are into the law of attraction, the same thing. You think, oh, I'm doing all the manifestation. I'm doing the vision boards. I'm writing, in my journal. I'm stating my affirmations, and things in my life aren't happening. I'm certain he's going to have some clarity around that today. So I hope you're super excited. So what we do with the intention statement is, my amazing team makes a beautiful graphic, and there it is right there. And where these live is on my Instagram page at Diane Forster Official. So if you go to my page, give me a follow while you're there, but there's a little button that says wallpapers, and they are there. And what I want you to do is, I want you to take a screenshot of this and use this as your phone screensaver, because you check your phone on average 150 times a day. So over the course of the week, you're going to see this over 1,000 times. And how we make change is through repetition. And when we start to see it over and over again, that's when it gets anchored. So grab your screensaver right there, and then check out all the other ones that are there. I mean, we literally have hundreds of them there. So pick the ones that resonate with you, but that's the one for this week. All right. So before I bring on Dr. Rewire, let's hear a word from our sponsor, the Spifter. And when we return, he'll be in the studio with me. This week's episode of I Have Today is brought to you by the Spifter. The Spifter is a fun sifting spoon that makes cooking, baking, and decorating with sugars and spices so much fun. No more mess or wasting your spices. It's fast, clean, and easy. Everything looks and tastes delicious. It's also great for straining loose tea, getting pesky broken cork out of your wine glass, and draining liquid off food like olives and capers. Whether you're a novice cook or a gourmet chef, you'll love the results. The Spifter, the kitchen gadget that no kitchen should be without. Hello, Dr. Alok. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
So happy to have you here as well. All right. Well, I want to share a little bit about you with the audience before we get into our interview. I got a lot of questions for you, great questions for you. So, Dr. Trivedi is a media personality, human performance doctor, and founder of the Trivedi Performance Institute. He's the author of Chasing Success: Lessons in Aligned Performance. Dr. Rewire has been featured on CBS, NBC, Fox News, Global News, Entrepreneur Magazine, and Amazon Prime. And today's on I Have Today. We're so honored to have you. He is sought out by CEOs, celebrities, professional athletes, entrepreneurs to rewire their thinking in his science-backed approach, helping them to transform their health, wealth, and relationships. The Trivedi process is a scientifically proven method for helping people heal from chronic ailments to rewire fear, beliefs, and habits that hold them back so they can achieve the life they've always dreamed of. His process, while founding and building one of the largest healthcare institutes in the country, seeing over 1,250 patients a week, was created by him. And there are over 92 techniques that you practice. This is incredible. So your company was named number 672 as one of the fastest growing companies on the Inc. 5000 list in 2021. That's incredible. We're so excited to have you. I'm so excited to have you. So
Thank you for having me. I look forward to it. This is gonna be fun. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
yeah. So as I mentioned, we met in New York a little over a month ago. You were speaking at an event in a mastermind group that I'm with, and I was so blown away. Well, I loved your presentation and I love the work that you're up to, but I was so blown away by the rewiring you did for one of the women there. In under 5 minutes, you got her to, lift off this limiting belief, this thing that was holding her back, and you pinpointed it to the exact moment, the thing that happened in her life, and then you connected all the dots for her. How powerful and how perfect that was for her. So that just blew me away, and I started digging more and more into you. And I know you're in Chicago, and we had that in common. I lived in Chicago for 24 years. So where I want to start with this is we talk about, the not necessarily the mess to success, but your journey. So how did life move you in the direction to do this work?
I don't know that life moved me. I'll be honest with you. I have a whole different construct on it, a whole different way that I look at it. I don't think that life changes you. I think when you're open to it, you finally realize what you were always designed to do. Right? I knew from a young age I wanted to help people honor and appreciate who they were in their life. It sounds like a crazy thing, but at 7 years old, that's what I imagined my life doing, teaching people to learn the power of themselves inside of it. And and I've always found my life kind of putting those pieces of the puzzle together. And we all kind of go through these journeys where our ego takes a hold of us and it separates you from who you are and what you're doing. And I wanted to be less of a doctor, and I wanted to be less of an Indian guy, and I wanted to be less of everything else that I really was. And I found that the more I got away from who I was, the less quote unquote successful and the more challenging life became. And the more I got owning who I really was, what I really was as a person, a doctor, and a healer, and at the same time an Indian guy, and honoring myself, life started to show up, and I started to move through that path. So I don't know that life moved me through there. I think what happened is that I finally woke up to who I was, and I kind of came to realize what that was for myself.
That's really, really beautiful. All right. Well, so, I've picked up so many things. We have so much to talk about here, but where I want to go first is, what's your definition of the mind-body experience?
Well, I don't think you can have a definition.
Yeah.
The mind-body connection is just the human experience. You can't have, like, people talk about health and mental health, and you can't separate the psychology from the physiology. You can't separate physiology from psychology because they're intertwined 100% of the time. And we now neurologically know this. We have nerves that are running from our brain to our stomach, and our stomach to our brains, and everything we do. The vagus nerve is doing this, right? 94% of the serotonin, which is the feel-good neurotransmitter, is made in our stomach. not our brain, but we're blaming mental health without realizing physical health as well. So you got to be able to take both into consideration. But the mind-body connection is the human experience, and to limit one is preventing humans from experiencing all of what life could be.
Right, right. So when you're trying to lose weight or get healthy, and you're only focused on the physical part of it instead of taking into account the mental part of it, then you're missing half of the equation, right? So I was just watching one of your videos. I think you just put it out earlier today or yesterday about, you were talking about the zone of desperation and the zone of inspiration, which I thought was so fascinating. Explain what's happening with people on the emotional scale and what they're experiencing.
Yeah. The zone of inspiration, the zone of desperation. So let's explain. The zone of desperation is where you have emotions of need, chaos, frustration, anger, and expectations, and all these things that are holding you back. And what that is that your body is being stuck in what's called a sympathetic tone. You are not energetically nor physiologically in a state of growing, receiving, expressing abundance in any capacity. And so this zone of desperation is where we have arguments, fights, chaos that happen. And this is the sympathetic system. We also have the zone of inspiration. Now, the zone of inspiration is where your breath, your life, your focus comes into one, and your nervous system is in balance and in harmony for what is experienced through life. And the inspirational state that you can be in is where you are actually congruent and one with the universe and its expression within it. Whereas the zone of desperation is where you're separate from the universe inside that. And what I mean by separate from the universe, not to sound esoteric by any capacity, but just not congruent to who you really are is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, you can go there here. We talk about all the woo stuff here. Oh yeah,
all
for
the woo
sure.
stuff is good.
Yeah, it is good. And what I really picked up is that those swings is definitely disconnection from who, you're right, who we truly are. Because when we are in a state of self-acceptance and understanding that our power, that we are connected to everything, and we live in that state, not all the time, obviously, but as much as we possibly can, and have this understanding, then there aren't those big swings. I don't get super happy about a lot of things, but I don't get super depressed about them either. It's just, we get in that flow state. I'm going to tackle it from the spiritual side of it. So, all right. So, you've developed 92 techniques for helping people do this rewiring. And you also say that this is what I read, that there is basically, most of us have one big thing deep inside of us that stops us from being who we want to be and achieving the level of success that we always dreamed of. What is it? One big thing for everybody? Is it different for everybody? What does that mean? There's one big thing.
Yeah, I've found over the years that there's one major incident or one major effect that is compounded over time that prevents you from actually expressing who you really want to be. And you let the fears, the chaos, all of that prevent you from really stepping into your own mission in your own life. And I found that the more we actually tap into that and realize the power of that emotion, power of that, the experience of it, not to run from it, to disconnect from it, because that's what most of us do, because we become scared of it. We disconnect from what's real and we go into a fantasy. And that's why people write, and I hope I don't offend anybody when I say it, but people live their life on vision boards rather than the experience of what life they could be, right? And instead of creating a life that they want, they try to manifest things that are usually fantasies. Like this weekend, for example, I use that term right now just because this weekend I have a program I do. It's called Creation. That's really what it is I take 4 days and we'll take people from all over the world and we'll help them create their life from a state of neurologic, physiologic, spiritual, energetic balance and harmony. And then things will create into thin air just like that, out of thin air. It sounds crazy to people when you say it, but it does. I've had people the stories I could tell you from this thing, TV shows were born out of this, relationships, marriages, children, for lack of better words, have been birthed out of this type of an experience. And the more we become congruent or aligned neurologically, and we realize this one thing that's holding us back, and we actually rewire what that thing is, we move forward without the trajectory of challenges. If I can go a little bit further, everyone says
Please.
know your why, right? Know your why, and the why is big enough. As long as the why is big enough, it's good. The why will take care of itself. It's not true. It's not true, because in my experience over the research I've done over the years, everyone knows their why. If I said to somebody, what's your why for doing something? What's your why for doing something? They know it. What they struggle with is the why not. Why aren't you moving forward with the goals you're talking about? Why aren't you moving with the things that you say you want to do? Remove the why not out of the way, and then the why becomes clear in your picture.
That's so powerful. So, because I have big goals, dreams. I know my why. I know what I'm building. I know what I'm doing,
Sure.
and I'm definitely not doing it fast enough, for sure. Definitely. Some of the goals and the things that I wanted to achieve in my life, some of them I've been talking about for 10 years. I'm not kidding. And what is that thing that's holding me back, right? And I know many, many people feel this way, and they feel stuck. So we have a slide of a picture from your website of your approach. So team, can you show the slide, please? This is on your website, and this is the actual science for success and fulfillment. So can you explain, you basically just said this, that, you're not going to vision board it or dance it away. There's something bigger going on here. Can you explain these three parts of the brain and what's happening?
Sure, absolutely. So the survival brain is the animal brain. Lots of research done on this. It's the amygdala. And everyone says you got to have your amygdala. It's all about the amygdala. It is. It is about the amygdala. The amygdala is the emotional center of the brain. But most of the time, it's what's called reflexive in its tendency, which means that it responds without you thinking. You think you have a conscious response, but you don't. I'll give you an example of something. You've ever had one of your spouse or your partner say something and they just trigger you, and before you know it, like you've lashed their head off? Of course you have. Everyone has, right? Like it's just before you even realize what happened, you've lashed their head off, and you're like, why did I just respond that way? And you're like, I didn't think. And there's lots of tools and techniques. Take a deep breath before you respond and all this stuff, which is great. Problem is that it's still a trigger, and you can't always respond and always take a deep breath. The reason you respond that way is because there's something that's happened in your life that creates that response, and it's a reflex. So if I said the word X and X makes you pissed off, you're going to respond that way no matter what. We have over 112 different senses in our body. Not just 5, we have 112 different senses that are in our system. And that moves us to the emotional brain. This is what's called the limbic brain. This is what's the feeling center. This is the part that makes us think about our center, our feeling center. It makes us think about kind of what we're doing. This is where we make decisions. So if we can get past the response of the amygdala, which is the fear center of the brain, then we move us to the limbic center of the brain. That's the emotional center. That's where most of us live. That's where most of us live and sit and say, hey, look, this is where I am. I'm at the limbic center, and this is where I do things that make me feel good. Great. But there's another center. And the other center is called the executive part of the brain. It's called the prefrontal cortex. It's the advanced part of the brain, right? I can say this on this channel, I feel like for my yogis on there, it's the third eye that sits right there, right? The third eye that sits right in there is a prefrontal cortex. It gives you vision, it gives you clarity, it gives you objectiveness. So if you think about what that means, your brain and the amygdala sits on the lower side, the limbic brain sits in the middle, and the prefrontal cortex sits in the front. And as we move up the brain, the more refined it becomes. So people don't realize is that when we function from the amygdala, we're actually functioning from a highly animalistic center of our brain. The more we rewire and evolve our brain and move towards the prefrontal cortex, the greater levels of consciousness we actually stem into. And the greater foresight, greater clarity, greater introspection you have and extrospection you have. You can see into the future for your life, and you don't get caught up into emotional chaos. And you're much more what they call Zen because of it. And so these are the 3 different centers of the brain. And what I help people do, and Joe stole the title of the book, which is so good, is I help people evolve their brains. I help people evolve their brains from where they are to evolve it to a greater level of consciousness so that they can help heal their life and grow and expand their life because of it.
That's so fantastic. Oh my gosh. I love that so much. So, okay, well, I want to go right to it. How do we do it? How do we rewire it so that it's flipped around?
Yeah, everyone asks the how question, right? And I'll give you I'll give you a framework behind it, because there's a reason there's 92, now 96 different ways that I actually can go help heal someone's brain, and help them rewire it, because they're all caused by different challenges, different things. But I can tell you, most people are afraid of something, and that's an addiction. Most people are afraid, and the addiction of approval of some sort is stemmed into our psychology from a very early age. And it's the dopamine that keeps us stuck there.
The dopamine.
Dopamine keeps us stuck in the addiction approval in that capacity. So if I give you a 4-step framework to follow, now this is not going to work in every capacity, but I'll give you a 4-step framework just to kind of think through, okay? The first step is break the addiction, right? So find the addiction, you got to break the addiction. Second step, find the opposite of the addiction and realize the growth how it serves your life. Break the addiction, find the opposite, how does it serve your life? Third part of it is look at the effect of the addiction and how it served your life. And the fourth part is, did you reach gratitude? Because if you didn't reach gratitude, it's in your intellectual brain, not in your emotional nervous system. So I'll say it again, just so everyone kind of follows it. Number 1, break the addiction. Step 2 is find the opposite of the addiction. And how did that serve your life? How did what the addiction gave you? What was the benefit of the addiction? And then did you get gratitude? If you take all those steps, you're going to get to a place of neurologic gratitude. And neurologic gratitude is where you have love and gratitude that you don't want to change anything that exists. It exists the way that it does. Here's the important thing behind it that I hope it's not just a pseudo gratitude that, I'm really happy this happened because that's really great. Real gratitude and true gratitude is where, I see the perfection that's in the universe and I honor that perfection, because that perfection is why I'm here in this moment. And it brings you a state of centeredness, presentness, and it opens up from the amygdala to the prefrontal cortex, and you become present, calm, grateful, and certain because of it.
Yes. And I witnessed you doing this. That's what happened at the event. And I just loved how you walked her through all of that, how she did get to that place of complete gratitude and appreciation of every perfect moment that transpired in her life. It's so true. I love this. And I'm so grateful that you're doing this work. You're out there, that I get to benefit from it. The audience gets to benefit, the thousands and thousands and millions of people whose lives you are affecting and are going to affect, because you have a different approach to this than anybody else I've seen. So, all right. So, what do you wish? And I know the universe is perfect. I get all that, right? But what do you wish more people knew or understood?
I wish more people understood that their positivity is what's breeding their chaos.
Say more. Tell me more. Their positivity is bringing them chaos. Oh, is breeding their chaos.
Remember I said earlier is that the more you realize the addiction feels good. Like you talk to a crack addict, crack feels good. You talk to a smoker, I was a smoker for many years, right? The nicotine feels good. You talk to an alcoholic makes you feel good. And that's just the physical, but we're also addicted to this idea of positivism and this movement of positivism. And that positivity, the addiction to positive thinking, is what breeds depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. And the mental health crisis in this country is not a mental health crisis, it's the addiction to positivity.
Holy cow. I mean, that's a writer downer, everybody who's watching this. That's what it is. Because we think we have to be happy and positive, or, Right, and yet we are here in the human body. I mean, we come into the physical to experience life, and experiences are all the experiences, not just only the good ones. It's everything in between. That's what creates this, the color and the dynamic. Diversity of culture, of relationships, of experiences. Anyway, that's so big. I got that for the first time. So I'm no longer addicted to being positive. But all right, let's talk about your book if we can.
Yeah.
All right. So Chasing Success, Lessons in Aligned Performance. So talk a little bit about the book, what it's about.
Yeah, this is a book I wrote about 2, 3 years ago. It's a great book. I love it. It's really about a story. It's a fictional tale. It's a story about a guy who's living his life chasing success, thinking that that's what's going to breed him happiness, and all the
Mm,
chaos that comes along with it, the ego, the pride, and the lessons are intertwined within this through this story. And at the end, he realizes a very interesting lesson. There's a lot of twists and turns in this book, but it's something that I think most of us in our day-to-day life today can relate to. And it's a great read. It's an easy read. I wrote it like a story because I wanted people to be able to grasp the lessons in a very easy way. I have another book coming out probably in about 6 weeks, and that one's called Wired for Wealth. That's around money and really just taking charge of your financial life with the craziness that's coming in the economy here. But Chasing
yes.
Success is a great read that people can take and really apply the lessons of it really fast.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, we're going to have a link for that book. We'll show it shortly. So what are you currently doing right now? What's up for you for the upcoming year? What's happening with you?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. First, like we have my signature program is this program I called Creation. It's in Chicago. I do it every year. It started with 6 people at the event, and that's where I did the first Creation event. And this weekend we have over 200 people coming from all over the world to attend this event. I don't market it. I don't do any of that. It's just my signature event. And I take 4 days and I dig deep, and we use sound, we use music, we use healing, and I help people heal through challenges and traumas and root experiences that they didn't even know existed. And I help them get into the state of creation, truly the state of creation. Because most people, what they do is they write a bunch of goals in this diluted state of their mind, and they say, "Oh, okay, I'm going to write these goals, fantastic." But they're diluted, so their goals are diluted, and when they don't achieve them, they become guilty. They become angry at themselves. They have shame and guilt involved inside that. So I said to myself about 7 years ago, I said, I want to teach people how to create from a true state of creation and be in that state. So that's coming up this weekend. And I'm super excited about that. It's my favorite program I do. January we have another program I do virtually. It's called Wired for Wealth. It's a great program in helping people. It's virtual. It's kind of like my intro to my world and what we do. It's online. It's like $200, so it's not really a big investment of any sort inside that. But the information, the learning that you'll get in that will really set you up to open the doors for what you're going to do. And then my big goal next year is to be able to help people get this out there more. I want to get my book out there more. We want to do more. I want to help teach more people how to do this so that we can make a greater ripple inside of people so people can get help. So that's my goal, is to help more people be able to do this work so that I'm not the only guy sitting there doing this all by myself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you have all that knowledge and wisdom, and many, many more people will benefit from you being able to train other people to do it too. So I wish I could go to your event this weekend. I really do. I'm definitely going to register for the one in January because I love what you're up to so much, and obviously get your books. All right. So what else? There's two more questions that I have, but before I get to them, I first want to ask you, is there something that people could do right now today in their current situation, like evaluating their life, taking a look at where they feel stuck or they're not, things aren't working for them? What is one action step that we could tell them to do today? Because that's what we like to do. We want to give you one instant actionable thing, like you could just do it right now, today, to make your life better. What would you say?
Yeah, I would give you a very simple thing to do. It sounds so simple, it's crazy. Find all the challenges that you had in your day today, and at the end of the night, just get grateful for them.
Oh,
All
that's
the
so
challenging
good.
things you had in your day. It's so simple, but it's so misunderstood and not taken. And the reason I say challenges is because people are grateful for the things that they have and the things that they want. They're not grateful for the things that they don't want. And
Yes.
so a simple thing at night, you go to bed, and we all talk about health and recovery and what we need to do with sleep. And now finally, sleep has finally made its headway into the world over the last 10 years and the power of sleep. But here's what's going to happen is if you go to bed and you're grateful for those things that happened in your life, you're not going to wake up at that 2 o'clock in the morning with cortisol spike. You're not going to wake up with a hormonal imbalance. And your HRV, which is your heart rate variability, is actually going to go, or their variability is going to go up, which means their recovery and the heart rate is going to go down, which means your body's going to be able to heal inside that. And so just being able to be grateful for those things is going to change your neurologic and emotional space. I like to say there's three major pillars in our health that we have to have as a being inside that. First, we have to have a disciplined mind. We have to have a super disciplined mind inside that. That doesn't mean disciplined, that you don't drink Coke, you don't drink soda, you don't drink, that's not discipline. Discipline is about where you're headed, what you want to do, and the mission, the purpose, and the vision, the identity, and the mission of your life. The second part I like to say is you have to have an optimal physiology because you can't do what you say you want to do without an optimal physiology. And that takes your structure, it takes your hormones and your metabolism to be in a complete state of harmony for you to be able to grow. And third, then we need to look at what's called a balanced emotional state. That's where we take our unrealistic expectations, we take our addictions, and we take our root experiences and we rewire that, make sure that it's all in harmony. Then you have a state of being that's expressing, healing, growing in that state. So this is a simple tool that you can use to be able to move yourself more towards that direction so that you can express yourself on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I just picked up something from you. I wish we could pay to watch online your Create the event this weekend. I'm in Beverly Hills and I'd love to watch. Thanks for being here, Jennifer.
Appreciate it.
I just picked up something. You know what you're doing? You know who you are? I mean, you're modernizing our brains because it's so antiquated. You're flipping it around and you're changing it to make it evolve as we've evolved. This is the way.
Correct.
This is what you're doing. Isn't that amazing? That is amazing. That's the first time I really got what you're doing. That's so powerful.
And thank you for honoring that because you're the only person that's ever caught that that's what I'm doing.
That is exactly what you're doing. You need to start putting that in all your marketing materials. Somebody write that down because you are modernizing our antiquated brain.
It is. It's modernizing the antiquated brain. It's evolving the brain. It's evolving the species. The more people that get this, the more the species grows. It's funny that, as people grow, their evolution changes. But right now, like in my office right now, believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, right next door to me is a behavioral health center. And I hear kids screaming at the top of their lungs every single day. And they're scared, they're panicked, they're nervous. And the more we stay stuck in this paradigm of the old, we're gonna create more illness in people and more diseases and more challenges and more mental health challenges are about to show up. So I'm trying to open the door for people to have the freedom in their life. I have two children. I have an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old, and they've learned these processes from day one. And that's to be able to help kids and help people evolve their consciousness is ultimately why I think I was here.
Yeah, and Dr. Alok, that is why, and what's happening in this world, this is my belief, my 2 cents, my interpretation is there is never been more chaos, right? And, destruction and divisiveness and people unhappy and, suicide, all of it, right? And it's the lens that we choose to view it through, right? Because there's also amazing things going on in the world as well. But the media, the news, and hey, I worked in the industry for 32 years, so I can say this is it's poised and positioned to keep us fearful, to keep us seeking certainty, and it's also contributing to that. But it really ultimately is our choice of deciding what we consume and what we take in. But a lot of it is because of that antiquated part of our brain that is running the show that keeps us addicted to that thing. So I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing, and I want to support you in any and every way that I can. So, all right, I have a question for you that I ask all my guests. So I'm going to put you on the spot, but don't worry, you're going to pass with flying colors. So we ask all of our guests to let us know, how do you live the I have today way, which is intentionally, with passion and purpose. And if you wouldn't mind, start your sentence with I have today too, because we catalog all these for our guests.
Yeah, I'd love to. I have today to express my soul fully, using the mind and the body and the spirit to express why I'm here. And how I do that is I start every morning moving. I have to move. I have to move. I train, I work out every morning. Second thing I do is I get my body in place. Second thing I do is I get my mind in place. And I start my day rewiring my own thinking, rewiring my own brain, and things that have come up every single day. That's a must. And then I do what it is I love to do the most. I don't get caught up in other people's drama. I do the things that I love to do the most. I'm very clear with my core identity. I know why I'm here. I know why I'm doing what I do. And there's not a question to me. So I spend every day doing the things that I love to do, and I let other people do the things that they love to do. And I don't get in the way of that. And then I go to bed at night grateful because I got to do what I love to do. And I got to spend my days doing the things I love to do with the people I love to do it with. And I think that's the experience of life.
Beautifully said. And not that we're on, up to anybody else's agenda, but so many people in the world would like to live the way you live. So it's so great that you're teaching them how to do that. So, all right, any final piece of advice, and then we'll put up links where people can find out more information about you.
I will tell you that. I will say that I wasn't always there. I wasn't always there. I wasn't like, it's not like I woke up and said, okay, here it is, and this is how you do it. It took years of me struggling. It took years of me figuring out how do we wire our brains to, and this brain that I've created, and I say it that way because I neuroplastically have wired my brain to be this way, to live this way. It's not an accidental process. And I don't think it will be. If you live accidentally, it's going to fall to the reflexive amygdala brain. I've consciously created my brain to function from the prefrontal cortex because I chose to. It takes work, it takes effort, but I get to reap the rewards of an experience of life of fulfillment, I think, because of that.
Yes. That's so beautifully said. And I love that because it didn't happen in a minute. It took years of practice. It took years of doing that. And you use the practice every day. You practice it every day. I'm the same way. I've nurtured my spirit, mind, and body every single day. Get up and meditate. I get up and journal. Then I journal, and then I go move my body. Right. And yeah, it's essential. And it's been the key to reinventing my life. But I also know there's more. I know, because I want more. I want to experience as much in life as I possibly can. Right. So I want to learn from people like you who have figured out and have mastered or are mastering, the reason why they're here and their, superpower in what they're doing. And it is super powerful what you're doing. So
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Of course. All right. So where can people find out more information about you? We have a couple of links here. I think you gave us, hang on a second. We have your link.bio, Dr. Rewire right there. That's one of the ways.
You got that? Go to drrewire.com. You can go anywhere on social, and basically from Instagram to YouTube to Facebook. I do a lot of YouTube videos. I think I have over 500 YouTube videos out there now. 400, 500, amazing. I don't know. I can't keep track of it. There's lots of videos. If you want to learn, there's lots of information out there to learn that I can help you with inside that capacity. But drrewire.com pretty much is the best place. And then, I'm out there. There's lots of ways to find me.
You are, you are. And we're also going to have a link for your book up as well, so people can grab a
Thank
copy of that. So we can post that, and then we'll put everything in the description notes. And well, it's been a pleasure having you, Dr. Rewire. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming here today. I know you were not feeling well. Thank you for rallying and being here and blessing us with your
Sure.
presence and all your work. And so. And I will definitely be registering for your January event. So, all
Well, thank you.
right. Thank you
Thank you so
so
much. Thank
much.
you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Have a beautiful today. Take care.
Thank you.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good. When you experience someone like that, you really have to take in how it's resonating with you, and I know how it's resonating with me. Almost to the point I'm having a little bit of trouble speaking right now because the energy was so powerful. Um, but that's such a sign of hope for you out there. If you are struggling and you think, God, I've tried everything. I have tried everything. And what I want to do is tell you that you are being bombarded every day with 70,000 impressions coming at you. You're being marketed to, you're being sold to, you're being, programmed to believe you're not enough. There's something wrong with you. You need this workout routine in order to this, or you need to, this diet in order to that, or whatever the process is making you believe that you're less than. And now you have an understanding based on what he shared today that the amygdala part of the brain, the survival part of the brain, is the thing that is causing that. And Dr. Rewire can help you rewire it. And so, I'm so grateful for you, the audience that's watching this. My hope and goal for you is that you take action today and stop living less than in your life. That you can stop what he was talking about, which is the zone of desperations, which is that up and down, peak and valley kind of emotions going back and forth. Having trigger reactions to things, and hey, I do it too, into more of the zone of inspiration, and live your life more from the prefrontal cortex here, which is so much more peaceful and zen. And it's right when you truly know who you are. So, oh, that was so good. So, what I'm going to do right now is, before we get ready to wrap up the show in a few minutes with our mantra meditation, please stay till the end, because I'm going to do a live one based on everything that we talked about today with Dr. Alok, and blending everything together, rewire your brain in minutes with him, and then the intention statement of I have today to understand the way my brain thinks. Now you do understand the way your brain thinks. It's so good. But before we do that, I want to just take a moment and tell you something that's going on here at I Have Today. We've been super busy. We have an incredible year planned next year. We are launching a television network. Yes, we are launching our own television network. If you like the interview today and you want to be surrounded by other amazing guests that I bring on my show, as well as all my other TV hosts who are experts in their industries, having their own television shows, bringing on valuable content like this, I invite you to follow me everywhere and stay tuned to what we're doing. If you are an expert and you feel like you want to have your own TV show, that's something that you've wanted to do, you've thought about it, it's like, but I don't know how to do it, Diane, then I invite you to do me a favor and send my team an email at info@Diane to set up a phone conversation to learn more about what we're doing, to see if it's a fit for you. Now, even if you don't want to do that, and maybe you're dabbling with it a little bit, and you're thinking, I want to be better on video, and I want to get to the place where I want a TV show. Wherever you are in that spectrum, I've got an amazing free gift for you. And it is my 7 secrets to become a TV star host. 7 secrets to become a TV star host. And I walk you through how to do that, how to be captivating on camera, how to set it all up, whether you have no budget or a low budget or moderate budget. It does not matter. You don't need to spend money on anything to start. And I'll teach you how to, create amazing content, how to have compelling episodes, how to build your run-up show, all the creative aspects of it. And then also, of course, how to get viewers to it, how to leverage it, create that content once, and then repurpose it, and then absolutely how to monetize it. So 7 secrets to become a TV star host. The link is right there. It's at tvhostmaker.com/secrets. tvhostmaker.com/secrets. That's for you who are listening to this as a podcast and can't see the screen. Okay, so yes, so we have big events coming up. We've got the TV Star Intensive coming up in January. We have the Star Academy Live coming up in March. And we'll be doing some other things. I've got a free masterclass that's coming up. So be sure to subscribe to us. Of course, subscribe to my TV show on my YouTube channel or on Facebook at I Have Today with Diane Forster. And then my social media everywhere else is Diane Forster Official. You can also go to my website at dianeforster.com and subscribe for my inspirational newsletters. We'll keep you up to date that way as well. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a few minutes right now, and I want you to get centered. And if you're listening to this on a podcast or you're driving, I'm sorry, if you're driving, obviously you can't do this right now, but you can certainly listen. You can't close your eyes, but you can listen in and tune in. And so this is what we do every week. I want you to end this episode feeling better at the end than you did at the beginning. I want you shifted. I want you different. I want you 1% better every day. My water bottle's down there. 1% better every day. 1% better every day in a year equates to 3,378%. You're the best investment in the world. So let's take a moment and anchor in everything that we experienced today with Dr. Rewire. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and then we're going to take in a deep breath for the count of 4. We're going to hold it for the count of 8, and we are going to send energy to each one of our chakras, the 7 on our physical body, and then the one right above our head, our soul star. And the reason why we want to do that is because when we send loving energy to each one of our chakras, which is connected to every part of our body, it's really, really healing. The soul star above our head is so important. It's because that is the pathway to being receptive to information. So if you want to get information in your frontal cortex, your third eye, you want to clear away all that karmic residue that's above there so that you can receive easier. Remember I said at the beginning, I like blending the science and the spirituality. That's what we're doing here today, right? So we're going to breathe in, hold it for 4, and then we're going to count to 8, lighting up your root chakra, your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown, and your soul star. Then we're going to blow it out for 8 seconds. And what I want you to do is act like you're blowing out birthday candles and get all that air out, like blow it out hard. Just release any toxicity, any negative energy or emotions that might be trapped in your body. Just visualize that what's coming out of your mouth is like sooty smoke, like from a chimney or from a train, right? Get it all out, breathe it out. We're going to do that breath 2 times. And then all you need to do is listen to the words. It'll just be a few minutes. All right. So here we go. Put your feet flat on the ground if you can. Put your hands on your lap if you want. Turn them down if you feel grounded. And if you want to receive energy, keep them facing up. Okay. All right. Close your eyes. And here we go. Breathe in for 4. Hold it for 8. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blow it out for 8. You should start to feel a little better, a little lighter. Here we go again, one more time. Breathe in for 4. Hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And blow it out for 8. I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles big and small, I notice them all. Yes, 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 thank you. I have today to understand the way my brain thinks. I now know that anything that I've been blocking myself from in my entire life has not been my fault. I'm just operating on an antiquated system. It's just doing its job. This is the way it was designed, but I now know I have the power to rewire it and make changes in my life. I can be a deliberate creator, not outside of me, from within me, of what my true purpose is, what I'm here to do, the things that bring me joy and happiness. Once I understand what I really want, not what outside forces and experiences and circumstances and the media and anything outside of me has led me to believe is what brings me happiness and what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm the one that gets to decide that. And I now have this powerful tool. And Dr. Alok shared today a process that lets me know that I can have gratitude for every single thing that has happened in my life. And when I start pinpointing those things and finding the gift in it and realizing that there was value in it and be grateful for it and release that charge, that negative emotion, or that negative belief that I've been carrying around, making me believe that this is who I am and this is just the way it is. Now I have a whole new lease on life. I can live with gratitude every single day for every single thing that came up. And I'm going to do the practice of laying in bed at night and looking back on my day, being grateful for the things that have brought me joy and being grateful for the challenges that presented themselves to me. I'll go to sleep, have a beautiful, peaceful, restful night's sleep. My body can heal then, and I can wake up and do it all over again. And each and every day, I'm going to do what I can to make myself aware that I can change the way my brain thinks. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to do this right here. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, you can open your eyes. I want to thank Dr. Rewire, Dr. Alok Trivedi, for being here and sharing all his wisdom with us. Don't forget, you can get his book. We're going to have a link for that. And the book, again, is Chasing Success, Lessons in Aligned Performance. Make sure you go to his site and make sure you register for his Wired for Wealth virtual event that's happening in January. Follow him everywhere. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. He said he's got 500 videos on there. And do what you can today to honor yourself, to love yourself, to forgive yourself, and to thank yourself for showing up here today. There was no other place you were meant to be today than watching this episode right here, right now. I'm so grateful to you. I thank you every day. I send you love and light every day. This is Diane Forster. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.